Welcome to Inside the Bottle, where I'll take a deeper look at some aspect of a dose of Buckley. Could be an old video, an unused concept, something like that. Every now and then, someone will comment about my audio, wondering how I get it the way that I get it. So if you're starting your own podcast, YouTube channel, or you're just curious about some behind-the-scenes making-of stuff, hopefully this is interesting to you. The most important thing about sound is that no producer is Midas. You really can't turn shit into gold. Doesn't matter how much you spend on software. The better the audio is to start, the less of an uphill battle you'll face. I literally record in a walk-in closet. It's full of boxes, clothing, all sorts of shit to absorb sound. If you've ever noticed that your own audio sounds a little echoey, it's probably because it's bouncing off surfaces. If you're like, well, I have a closet and I'm using it and it still sounds echoey. Is the closet empty? If it is, put stuff in it. Some people like to throw some blankets in there, maybe just hang some clothes in there, whatever. If your computer isn't close enough to a closet, get a longer cord. I have a 20-foot cord running from my setup to the mic in my closet. It's not pretty, but it works. The important thing is to record away from noise and away from the fans on your computer. That also means don't bring your laptop into an area where you're recording. It also means that if you're recording near, say, your bathroom, turn exhaust fans off or wait until your dad's finished taking a shit. Also, my mic has a shock mount and is on a small stand. But if you don't have that, not a problem. Either try holding it yourself or hanging it from something. You'd be surprised how much vibration or noise that helps to get rid of. But people who have their USB mic right on their computer desk underneath their running PC, wondering, why do I get so much background noise? That's why. Mics pick up everything, including vibration. My setup's a little overkill for YouTube, but I also use it for freelance voice work from time to time as well. I use a Rode NT1A mic, kind of a middle-of-the-road voiceover mic. It's more expensive than a Yeti, but not nearly as expensive as some of the best mics on the market. I plug it into a small Mackie mixer, which then plugs into a compressor limiter gate. I won't bore you with all the details of what that does, but basically, it cuts out noises at certain decibels, so basically less background noise will get picked up, and it makes my voice sound a little thicker? Let's go with thicker. But you don't need all this stuff, and what I'm about to show you can be done with a USB mic. So, let's record something. I'm going to exaggerate a little so we've got something to edit. I use a very old program called Cool Edit Pro that you know better as Adobe Audition. The techniques I'm going to show you are also available in Audacity as well as almost any other editing software. Yeah, you fucking with some wet-ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass pussy. There we go, we got our audio. Such as it is. Now we need to clean it up. Now I chose old Cardi B for a reason. It's got a lot of P sounds, which can result in popped Ps. They sound like shit. You can get rid of these naturally by practicing good mic technique. That means staying about 6 to 8 inches away from the mic when you speak. But you can edit these as well. I also had that sniff in there, so I'm going to clean it all up. I'll start by taking out the sniff. I have keyboard shortcuts normally set up for this, but I apply silence to every part that's already quiet, as well as every single breath or other weird noise, so there's no chance of any noise that's not me talking. Then, I delete any silence that's unnecessarily long to tighten things up. So let's hear that. Yeah, you fucking with some wet-ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass pussy. Alright, so we got rid of the sniff and any possible unnecessary background noise. Now, because this is me, I'm going to also do something called dynamics processing on this. This is going to level everything off, and it also compresses my audio again, beefing it up just a bit more. Makes this really sound like I'm on the radio. Just start by using a vocal comp preset. Whatever software you're using should have something, and trial and error it for your own voice to see what sounds best. Then, I'm going to clean up all the P sounds. To do this, what you're looking for is, at the beginning or end of words with P sounds, you'll want to find these peaks. Just delete them. You are going to listen back every time you cut something out, so you can undo it if you take too much off and it sounds worse than before. Like, you don't want mop to sound like maw. But basically, it's like pruning a tree. You just take a little bit off. Don't chop the whole fucking thing down. So, here's before I fix the P sounds. Yeah, you fucking with some wet-ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass pussy. And here's after. Yeah, you fucking with some wet-ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass pussy. So, it's about as good as that line is gonna sound. And that's how I do it. Now, you might be saying, Buckley, I'm on camera. Is there anything I can do? Well, you can certainly try. Convert whatever video you have to audio. You can use a program like any video converter for that. That's free. But just remember that you probably can't tighten things up too much. If you delete audio, but you don't adjust the video, then the audio and video will be out of sync. But you could certainly remove breaths and background noise. Now, my biggest recommendation to you would be to record your audio separately in a mic and then film yourself and sync it up. But here's a before and after of a clip from my recent Patreon Goes Postal, which I just record with my phone. Here's what I gave you. Our last question of the day is from Kylan Mann, who asks, eating ass, yes or no? And here is what I could have done. Our last question of the day is from Kylan Mann, who asks, eating ass, yes or no? So I don't know if that's an improvement. This is a good example of why you need to be in a quiet room or use a different mic. And some of these techniques may just not work with a mic from a phone, but feel free to play around with it and see what happens. You may have seen videos before that suggest using something like a noise reduction setting, but be careful with that. A lot of times it makes audio sound really hollow. I really don't recommend it. Again, you can't turn shit into gold. If you're recording outside with a lot of wind and cars driving by and shit like that, there's no magic button or software to get rid of that. It's going to suck. Anyway, hope this has given you some insight into my recording process. It's a lot of work, but I've said this before. Your 30-minute podcast shouldn't take you 30 minutes to record and 5 minutes to upload. An 8-minute video, I usually spend a good 40 minutes to an hour just on the audio editing. Does that seem like too much work? 40 minutes or more for 8 minutes of audio? Well, then put less work into it and have a lesser quality program and see what happens in a space where everyone and their fucking mom has a podcast. See how competitive you are if you just want to do the bare minimum. Got a question about my channel? Let me know, and maybe I'll talk about it next time I go inside the bottle.